Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, chapter 18, verse 9. In the last verse, Bhagwan Krishna said, he who gives up his obligatory duties because it is painful or he has to suffer bodily, this type of thyaga is rajasic in nature. He gains nothing out of this type of thyaga. That is what Bhagwan Krishna said in verse 8, verse 9. कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियतेऽर्जुन सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्यागः सात्विको मतः. Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, Niyatam karma, they are karmas that are enjoined by the Vedas. These karmas include both scriptural and secular karmas. That is, Vaidika karmas or Laukika karmas. Whatever you do as per Vaidika karma, rituals, or whatever you are doing, office work, etc., Laukika karmas, they must be done. There is no option. They must be done with proper attitude, that is, without attachment and anxiety for the fruits of actions. They are done for antakarana suddhi, which is not considered as a pala, that is fruit, that we have already seen. Swami Dayananda Saraswati brings out beautifully the difference between satvic thyaga and rajasic or tamasic thyaga. In satvic thyaga, one performs his duties. He is not giving up the work. He performs all duties. What is given up is not the work, but the attachment to the work and the fruits of his actions. That is satvic thyaga. You do what is to be done, you will do. In rajasic thyaga and tamasic thyaga, one gives up the work itself. He is not doing any work. He gives up the work. In tamasic thyaga, out of delusion or misconception, he takes to sannyasa so that he need not have to perform any work. Happily I can sit, either under a tree or in an ashram. I don't have to do any work. So that is his thinking in tamasic thyaga. In rajasic thyaga, he gives up the work because of pain or fear of bodily suffering. Any small pain or anything that hurts him bodily, immediately he will give up the work. He will resign. No, I don't want to do this work. Work itself is given up. Even though rajasic and tamasic thyaga involves renunciation of work, whereas sattvic thyaga involves renunciation of attachment and fruits of actions to the work. Difference is, in sattvic thyaga, work is not renounced. That is the one which we have to keep in mind. Work is not renounced. It is always done. Adi Shankara says, it is better to keep doing one's karma and give up karma pala and thus gain antakarma shuddhi. Because in the first two types of sannyasa, I think, it is out of misconception. You cannot become a sannyasi overnight. Impossible. Only slowly you have to climb that ladder. I think that is what is meant by Adi Shankara. So it is better to give up the karma pala than the karma itself. Bhagwan Krishna insists one must perform his duties. This has been said by Bhagwan from the beginning till now. One must perform his duties. Don't run away or escape from your duty. While doing the duty, one should perform it without ego or ahankara. Ego, we know, I am the person who is doing it. I did it. That kind of a thinking. Ahankara. It should not come out. The attitude is this is to be done by me. This work has to be done by me. Swadharma. Therefore, I do it. I have no choice in this. Let me do the work as an offering to Bhagavan Krishna. That must be the thinking. In an attitude of surrender, you must carry out all your duties. Swami Dayananda Saraswati quotes Adi Shankara here, who says, Nitya Naimittika karmas produce results. He says so because there is a view that Nitya Naimittika karmas do not produce any result. That is the view. Prevailing view is Nitya and Naimittika karmas do not produce any result. But if you don't do them, then you incur fault. That is papa, sin. Nitya Naimittika karmas one must perform. So if you don't do it, then you incur sin. Adi Shankara says this view is not correct. All karmas, including Nitya Naimittika karmas, produce result. They will give punya. But the intention is not to gain punya, but antakarna suddhi. So the view that Nitya Naimittika karmas do not produce any result is not accepted. All karmas produce result, including Nitya Naimittika karmas. They will give punya. But your intention is not to gain that punya. Your intention while performing it is to gain antakarna suddhi. Adi Shankara makes another point here. There is no pala mentioned for Nitya Naimittika karmas in the Vedas. Vedas, for everything there is a pala which has been specified by Vedas. But for Nitya karmas, nothing has been specified. But if one does Nitya karma, he gains antakarna shuddhi or removal of ill effects of not doing it. Already we have seen, if you don't do it, you incur sin. So if you do it, you gain antakarna suddhi. Or you don't incur the sin of not doing it. If he gives up even that, that is palatyaga. That is, you give up the antakarna suddhi. That is palatyaga. But why is he doing that karma? What is the reason? It is purely for Ishvara Preeti. This is Shraddha. He does not care for even for Antakarna Suddhi. I gain Antakarna Suddhi or not. I don't have any result in my mind. I perform it because I have to perform this. That's it. Simple. Whether I gain Antakarna Suddhi or not, it is for the Karma Palathaga. That is Bhagavan Krishna's grace. I don't do it for that purpose. He does it because it is enjoined by the Shastras. Ishvara's mandate. Vedas are Ishvara's mandate. This attitude makes the thyaga satvic thyaga. Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, Shastras accept that performing Nitya Naimittika karmas, it has a capacity to neutralize the accumulated powers of whatever you have done. Whatever you have done. So how will you reduce it? By doing Nitya Naimittika karmas. Even that desire to neutralize the accumulated powers, that can be given up. One can do it only because it is enjoined by the Shastras. I do it because Vedas say so. Full stop. No question will be asked. I am not worried whether I gain punya, whether I gain antakarna shuddhi, whether my earlier papas are getting reduced or not. I am least bothered. I will do it because it has been prescribed as a duty for me by the Vedas. Simple. Full stop. That is the Satvic Thyaga. Swami Chinmayananda says, those who perform their obligatory duties because they are to be done, fall under satvic thyaga. Bhagavan Krishna says all must do their duties. No one can run away from their duty. No one can escape their duty for one reason or other. You must perform duty. Bhagavan Krishna first, from the beginning, he says this. Real thyaga or satvic thyaga means doing your duty with correct mental attitude. The discussion is not what is to be relinquished, but how the work must be done. Whether I can give up the work or not is not the discussion. You must perform work, but with what attitude? Bhagavan Krishna condemns running away from one's duties, but asks us to perform them with correct mental attitude. According to Bhagavan Krishna, thyaga is subjective renunciation of all inner selfishness and desire. If there is nothing to gain from the act, why at all one should sweat and toil, even if it is a noble endeavor? That is the question. Sir, you are saying there is no result. You must perform duty. You must not take the result also. Fruit also I should not expect. Why at all I should perform the work? Instead I can sleep happily. If I do some work, naturally I do the work because I expect some result. Why at all I should perform the work? Whatever is the work, let it be a noble work. Why I should perform that work? Acting in the world by performing one's duties with proper attitude, that is, renouncing ego and egocentric desires, an individual exhausts his vasanas and grows in his inward purity. That is the point. You are earning money, you are living happily, thinking that you are living happy. Because happiness, it is in between sadness, only happiness comes. So next moment it is sadness. But inward purity, the mental calmness, exhausting your vasanas, that is the important thing. That is why you are asked to perform your duty with proper attitude. The person performs his duties selflessly with honesty and conviction, irrespective of whether he receives bouquets or brickbats. Swami Chinmayananda says, the sattvic kind of thyaga, he performs his duties selflessly with honesty and conviction, irrespective of whether he receives bouquets or brickbats. He performs his duties devotedly and is neither anxious or daunted by their outcome. Whatever is the outcome, that is Bhagavan's headache. It's not my head. I did my work to the best of my abilities. And I gave the full attention to the work that it deserves. That's it. No other question. He simply does the work for work's sake. This has been insisted by Swami Vivekananda also. Throughout his book, if you read, one must work for work's sake. He insisted on that. I think Bhagavan Krishna always looked for welfare of the society. Why? Why one should perform work for work's sake? It is for the welfare of a society. I think so. Because society has to be happy. Assume this. If a doctor, a trader, a judge, a teacher, a lawyer, an army officer, or a political leader, if all of them perform their duties without attachment and anxiety for the fruits, naturally the work done by them will be tremendous. The entire society will be immensely benefited. If everyone starts doing their work for work's sake, then the society will be immensely benefited. Nowadays, everybody is afraid to go to a doctor. Even if the doctor says prescribe something, immediately he goes to another doctor and checks whether this fellow said is correct or not. If somebody comes to know this doctor is not for money, this doctor, when he says it perfectly. He is not bothered about money. He is not bothered about respect. Then naturally, will the money that comes and the respect that comes are incidental. It is not main for that doctor. Is the society not benefited? You are benefited. You are one among the society. The entire society will be benefited because of one doctor. Nobody looks for something for them personally. If these kind of people are working for work's sake, everyone keeps money as their goal nowadays. Everyone, you go anywhere, money is the goal. How to earn the money? The end goal is money and not satisfaction in work. That is why there is so much of unrest in this world. If everyone keeps the work to be done to the best of his abilities as his goal, then the money they gain or the respect they gain are only incidental. Work is done for work's sake. Satvic thyaga. They care not for them, but they do their work dutifully, honestly, sincerely, perfectly, and with conviction. If it is done in this way by the people of in their respective professions, then will not any country flourish? And will not that country become an heaven for those who live there? This was the attitude with which the work was done in India 200, 300 years back. Now it is not so. So we have to think. Krishna again asked us to think how to perform the work. Verse 9 again. Karyamityeva yat karma niyatam kriyaterjuna sangam tyaktva palam chaiva satyaga satvigo madagam. Next verse tomorrow. Arihom sarvam krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 Narayana